This video is sponsored by Audible. Alright, so I'm sure a lot of you have heard this, but The Legend of Korra is coming to Netflix in the United States on August 14th. I suspected this would happen eventually, but I didn't expect it to come so soon after Avatar. Apparently it's already been on the streaming service, CVS All Access. Now, I never heard of the streaming service, and I don't know why, like, a pharmacy chain drugstore has a streaming service.
Not CVS, CBS. CBS All Access.
Oh, that makes sense. But I never heard of them either. Netflix made some kind of deal with them, so CBS All Access will still have it too. I'm betting Netflix saw how popular Avatar was and decided to get The Legend of Korra on there before all the hype died down. I actually think this is perfect timing for it to be on Netflix, because it's soon enough after Avatar that it's still on people's minds, but it's later enough after that it won't compete with Avatar. It can be its own thing. It will be interesting to see if The Legend of Korra is as popular as Avatar was on Netflix. Which brings me to our next topic. Apparently, Avatar set a new record on Netflix. You know how Netflix has like their daily top 10 most watched shows? Avatar was actually in the #1 spot for a few days after it was released. Well, apparently now Avatar holds the record for most consecutive days holding a place somewhere in the top 10 list. It was in the top 10 list for 61 consecutive days, defeating Ozark's previous record of 57 days. It only held the #1 spot for 5 consecutive days though, but that's still really impressive for a 15-year-old show. It will be interesting to see if The Legend of Korra achieves anything close to this. It is a lot more divisive than Avatar, with a decent chunk of the fans not liking it. Alright, in other news, the San Diego Comic-Con at-home Avatar panel was pretty uneventful. I do appreciate that they're keeping the tradition of having an Avatar panel every year, but there was nothing really significant announced. I mean, the most significant thing I learned was that the upcoming comic about Katara takes place during Season 2 of the show, which I actually think is kind of weird. I can understand a short comic taking place during the show, but an entire graphic novel? Alright, whatever, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I have no idea when they'll announce anything about the live-action show. It's been almost 2 years since they announced it, and there's still no news, despite what certain YouTubers continue to lie about. I almost think that Mike and Brian were like partying or something, and they got really high on cactus juice and came up with this idea to make a live-action remake of Avatar, and it sounded like a really great idea at the time, and then they told the presses before they got sober, and then they sobered up and realized how much work it would be, and then they regretted it and don't really want to make it now. And I don't blame them. It seems like a lot of work to just remake a story that's already been told. I've actually felt like Mike almost seems tired of Avatar at this point. If you watch this year's or last year's Comic-Con panels, he just says some things that makes me think he's sick of it. I mean, I don't really blame him. Even awesome, great things like Avatar can get old sometimes. But I don't know, maybe I'm just reading him wrong. What do you guys think? Have any of you guys gotten that vibe from him? Let me know in the comments. I'll put a link to this year's panel in the description if anyone wants to watch it. On a related note, I was actually in an exclusive fan Q&A Zoom meeting a few days ago with Avatar's head writer, Aaron Ehas. I was invited to it extremely last minute by one of my friends from Comic-Con, so I wasn't really prepared with any good questions or anything. This was actually much more interesting than the actual Comic-Con panel, though. One interesting thing that Aaron said was that bloodbending was actually an idea that the writers got from reading some online fan discussion forum. I thought that was pretty interesting, the fans having an influence on the show. There were a lot more interesting things that I won't go into now, but the guy who organized it might upload the entire Zoom meeting somewhere in the future. I'll let you guys know if that happens. In other news, there's been a comet flying by Earth that's been visible in the northern hemisphere. Whenever these celestial activities happen, it always reminds me of Avatar, whether it's a red moon or an eclipse or a comet or even the solstices. Now, this comet's not as magnificent looking as Sozin's comet, but it's still pretty cool to see. It's actually starting to fade in the sky now, but I think it'll still be visible for a few more days or weeks or something. It also really helps to have good binoculars. I'll try to find an article and put it in the description about how to see it. I saw it like a week ago and I thought it was pretty cool. Let me know in the comments if any of you guys saw it. But in the meantime, make sure you don't piss off any firebenders, cause yeah. This comet won't fly near Earth again for another 6,800 years, so you might want to catch it this time. It's not like Sozin's comet that returns every 100 years. You know what's crazy about Sozin's comet? Well, it wasn't called that back then, but Avatar Kyoshi might have seen Sozin's comet 3 times during her lifetime. Kyoshi actually lived for 230 years, and if you do the math, the comet would have passed near Earth when she was 12, 112, and 212. Speaking of Kyoshi, both audiobooks of the novels about Kyoshi are now available on Audible, and you can get a free trial of Audible and a free audiobook right now through the link in the description. You don't have to pay anything, it's totally free, and they'll send you an email 7 days before the trial ends in case you want to cancel it. Now, Audible is a subsidiary of Amazon, so if you already have an Amazon account, then signing up is super easy. Barely an inconvenience, because it'll just ask you to sign in through your Amazon account. I made a review of The Rise of Kyoshi a few days ago, and my verdict is basically that it's a pretty good book. I definitely recommend it to any Avatar fan. I'm currently listening to its sequel, The Shadow of Kyoshi, and it's pretty great because with Audible, you can listen to it on any device, and you can download the audiobook so you can listen offline. What's also really nice is they have this sleep timer you can set so that it'll stop after a certain time. So it's really nice to listen to before you go to sleep. So sign up at http://www.audibletrial.com/avatarcritic. Make sure you have ad blocker turned off and cookies enabled before you click the link, or else it won't work. Alright, well that's all the Avatar news I have for today. Subscribe to my channel for more Avatar videos. Hit the bell button thing for notifications. Hit the like button, leave a comment, support me on Patreon. Big thanks to my patrons Jay Campbell, My Hero Mo, Kyle Alvarez, and Colleen West. Follow me on social media. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.